Right, so I know this is a very bold claim. This is an incredible satellite transceiver. Retevis RT82. I'll switch it on, go to menu, go to satellite. Got no channels programmed in. It does it all automatically, predicts the passes. I'll choose a pass that's going on at the moment. You can see the azimuth at the top, that moves live. Elevation, bottom left, that moves live. And the best thing is, it alters the receive and transmit frequency automatically. So stick around and I'll explain a bit more. So this radio is a standard Retevis RT82, also works with the MD 2017. Points to note, this radio, there's 3 different hardware versions and it only works at the moment on one hardware version, so do your research when ordering, if you get one. Now, huge thank you to Roger Melbourne, who's created the software. OpenGD77, that is the name of it. There's a forum there. It tells you what radios are supported. So Roger has done an incredible job with his team. He's VK3KYY. You connect it to a computer and it downloads the KEP files, satellite KEP files from the CPS software. So that's really cool. And I'm just trying to come out of it. So if you go to radio info, I manually added the location. And that's all I did. Okay, so this is the actual website, opengd77.com. If you click on that, there's forums, there's pages for every supported radio, and the CPS. Any question anyone's ever had, it's going to be in here. So just a brief look at, so that's the radios and the CPS. And we're just bringing up the software now. I've made a folder down here, RT82. So to get this, there's 2 types of radio to program. I'll just show you in the list at the top. And they've both got a different way of getting the firmware on the radio. You've got the bottom one, which I'm on, which is MD9600 RT90, MD UV380 RT3S. RT3S, that's a very popular radio to do this with because that has GPS. That seems to be a popular one. And there's a few others there, RT82, MD 2017. And I just moved my pointer. The top one is a different type of radio and a different type of firmware. Don't think it has the maps or the satellite, but that's the other version. But I'm concentrating on this version, and to upload the firmware, I believe I went to extras, firmware loader, and with this, because of DMR vocoder licensing conditions and legality, you have to provide a donor file, the original firmware from a radio. It's all in the forum how to do it. So I downloaded a file, and then you select the OpenGD77 firmware, and then you can flash the firmware across. So I flashed this first, and then I realized I didn't have the satellite KEPs, and I came back to it, and where did I go? I went to program, was it? Program, right, and there was nothing to click on here. This is what I like about it. You click on program and it just does it. And you might not have seen that, but I believe this is putting new satellite caps on. So I would think every now and again you've got to do this again. But there's a button here, look, install satellite caps, where my mouse pointer is. And all these buttons are grayed out because this is alpha software. But that's what put the caps on. So it's very simple steps.
So the OpenGD77 firmware does a lot more than just satellite. It makes a very good scanning receiver for DMR. If I press the button on the top, there's filters for FM and there's filters for DMR. And if you leave these filters very wide open, you know, like on nothing, and colour code on scan, you can search a part of the RF spectrum, you know, for business users, and you can hear traffic, a bit like a Whistler scanner. Probably not quite as good as that, but I've managed to hear, you know, security and stuff on it on DMR. So for a cheapo radio, that's pretty awesome. So it does a lot more than just satellite, although that's mainly what I'm interested in. And it's even got a spectrum scope on it. That's 1000 kilohertz, 1 megahertz. You can also enter upper and lower limits and search between them. So this makes it a very handy radio. You can put all the channels on there with the CPS software, or you can program them in manually. So let's just have another look at the satellite software section. This is only in alpha stage, this software, but I haven't found any problems with it. It works beautifully. Go to satellite, so it predicts a list, and it shows you the time, the satellite name, and the degrees of elevation. So, you know, if it's below 20 odd, you know, you might struggle. So I can go up and down the list and find a really good pass, you know, nice and high. I mean, look at that one, 81 degrees. That's Tevel 7, Tevel, Tevel 7. And if you use this in conjunction with the ISS detector app and you pay for the satellites extension, it makes a very good way to do it, because the time is counting down at the tops, minus 17 minutes, 15, 14, 13. It counts down, and then when it comes over live, you see this dot, that's the satellite. It's coming from south to north, and you can see it's almost crossing over my location. So this comes along, and the elevation and the azimuth changes as well.